The submersible's cabin was a sanctuary of calm, a stark contrast to the crushing blackness outside. Dr. Aris Thorne pressed his face against the thick acrylic viewport, his breath fogging the surface for a moment. Miles above, the waves of the Atlantic churned under the September sun. Down here in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, it was another world entirely. The only sounds were the gentle hum of the life support systems and the rhythmic ping of the sonar, painting a picture of the unseen ocean floor. For weeks, their expedition had charted nothing but sand, rock, and the occasional deep-sea creature flitting through the powerful spotlights like a ghostly moth. It was painstaking, often mind-numbingly dull work, a far cry from the sensational headlines the region always inspired. Suddenly the sonar operator, a young geophysicist named Kenji, let out a sharp gasp. His eyes were wide, glued to his monitor. "Dr. Thorne, you need to see this," he whispered, his voice tight with a mixture of disbelief and excitement. Aris moved over, peering at the screen. The familiar undulating lines of the seabed were interrupted by something impossible. A series of perfectly straight lines and right angles forming a geometric pattern that nature simply doesn't create. It was massive, sprawling for what looked like miles. The air in the sub crackled with sudden electric tension. This was it. This was the moment they had all secretly hoped for and feared in equal measure. To understand the sheer terror that gripped Dr. Thorne and his crew, you have to understand the place they were in. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, isn't an official name you'll find on any world map. It's a legend, born from tragedy and whispered in hushed tones by sailors and aviators for generations. This loosely defined stretch of the North Atlantic Ocean, Bermuda, Florida, Puerto Rico, has earned a reputation as one of the most mysterious places on Earth. For over a century, it has been the epicenter of baffling disappearances, ships' planes often without a trace. The stories are the stuff of nightmares. Take Flight 19, for example. On a clear day in December 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from a base in Florida for a routine training mission. They were seasoned pilots, flying in perfect weather. Yet, a few hours into their flight, their radio communications became bizarre and disoriented. The flight leader was heard saying, "Everything is wrong, strange. The ocean doesn't look as it should." They never returned. A rescue plane sent to find them, a Martin Mariner with 13 men aboard, also vanished. It was against this backdrop of myth and fear that Dr. Aris Thorne and the International Oceanic Research Institute, or IORE, launched their ambitious expedition in the summer of 2025. Their mission wasn't to chase sea monsters or find gateways to another dimension. Their stated goal was far more grounded, to conduct the most comprehensive geological survey and magnetic survey of the region ever attempted. They aimed to map the seabed with unprecedented detail, analyze the unique magnetic field fluctuations, and investigate the volatile methane hydrate deposits known to exist there. Officially, they were there to find scientific explanations for the legends, to demystify the Devil's Triangle once and for all. The preparation for such a journey was immense, a logistical ballet costing hundreds of millions of dollars. The centerpiece of the expedition was the Nautilus, a state-of-the-art deep-sea submersible, purpose-built for this mission. It was more than a submarine, it was a mobile underwater laboratory. Its hull was forged from a reinforced titanium alloy, capable of withstanding pressures that would crush a military submarine like a soda can. It was equipped with next-generation side-scan sonar, a quantum magnetometer sensitive enough to detect the faintest magnetic whispers, and an array of robotic arms and core drills for sample collection. The structure, the very thing that triggered the chaos aboard the Nautilus, was a scientific impossibility. As the crew struggled to regain their composure, Dr. Thorne focused on the data pouring in. The sonar returns were unlike anything he'd seen. The object was vast, nearly 2 miles long and half a mile wide. Its surface wasn't just smooth, it was geometrically perfect. Sharp 90-degree angles and long uninterrupted straight edges that defied natural processes. Crystallization sedimentation, like a dropped city block on the ocean floor 3 miles down. The material composition was baffling. Spectrographic analysis returned junk data. Instruments couldn't identify the elements or alloys. The surface looked like polished stone, yet behaved like glass or ceramic. As the Nautilus cautiously backed away, its powerful lights swept across the surrounding abyssal plain. The sediment here was different, littered with a debris field that stretched for miles in every direction. At first, Thorne assumed it was detritus from the strange edifice fragments that had broken off over the eons. But as the cameras zoomed in, a cold, sickening realization dawned on them. This wasn't rock. It was wreckage. A graveyard of ships, a graveyard of planes, a silent testament to the Triangle's dark legacy. A graveyard unlike any other, defying logic and chronology, creating a scene of pure, historical chaos. They saw the unmistakable shape of a World War II-era Avenger torpedo bomber. Inside the cramped confines of the Nautilus, the atmosphere of scientific inquiry had, well, completely evaporated, replaced by a thick, choking fog of fear. The scream from the technician had been the breaking point. She was now huddled in a corner, wrapped in a thermal blanket, her eyes vacant and staring at nothing. The other crew members, seasoned professionals, were visibly shaken. Their faces were pale, their movements jerky and uncertain. Kenji had his hands pressed against his temples, muttering about a low hum in his head. Dr. Thorne fought to maintain a semblance of order, but his composure was hanging by a thread. His heart hammered against his ribs, a cold sweat trickled down his spine. Every instinct was screaming at him to flee. He looked from the impossible structure on the screen to the faces of his terrified crew. He was responsible for their lives. The mission protocols for a discovery of this magnitude were clear. Document, collect data, retreat to a safe distance, but the protocols had never accounted for a discovery that actively fought back. The psychological toll was immense. The deep ocean is already an alien environment. For decades, long before Dr. Thorne's harrowing fictional encounter, scientists have sought logical answers for the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. Stripping away the paranormal theories, they have focused on the unique and often violent natural phenomena that characterize this patch of ocean. One of the most prominent scientific explanations involves the region's notoriously unpredictable weather. The Gulf Stream is a powerful, fast-moving ocean current that runs right through the triangle, capable of creating sudden and extreme changes in weather. Storms can form and dissipate with terrifying speed, catching even experienced mariners and aviators off guard and giving them little time to react or call for help. Another compelling theory centers on the existence of rogue waves. Once dismissed as sailors' tall tales, these colossal walls of water are now a documented reality. While mainstream science offers plausible, if less exciting, explanations, there are other more fringe theories that have captured the public imagination. Perhaps the most famous is the idea of giant crystal pyramids resting on the ocean floor. This theory gained traction when some oceanographers, using sonar equipment, allegedly discovered two enormous pyramids described as made of a thick, glass-like substance resting at a depth of over 6,000 feet. The structures were said to be larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, with perfectly smooth, unblemished surfaces, reminiscent of Dr. Thorne's fictional Anomaly. Proponents claim these are not natural formations but relics of an advanced ancient civilization, most commonly Atlantis. Legend says the Atlanteans harnessed powerful energy using massive crystals. The theory posits these submerged pyramids are part of an ancient power grid and remain active. They supposedly generate a powerful energy vortex. Dr. Thorne's crew in our story eventually managed to reboot their systems and make a frantic escape to the surface, bringing with them a story that science could not explain and the world was not ready to hear. While their tale is a work of fiction, it taps into the very real and enduring mystery that the Bermuda Triangle represents. Despite all our scientific advancements and logical explanations, a profound sense of the unknown still clings to this region. The rational theories, while plausible, do not fully account for every strange report, every garbled final transmission, the sheer number of incidents concentrated in this one patch of ocean. The core of the mystery remains intact because of a simple, frustrating fact. The ocean is incredibly vast and deep. We have better maps of the surface of Mars, the Moon, than we do of our own planet's seabed. The areas where these vessels and planes are thought to have gone down are often miles deep, subject to powerful currents that can carry wreckage for hundreds of miles. Locating a single ship or plane in this immense, dark and dynamic environment is like finding a needle in a continent-sized haystack. The absence of evidence, therefore, is not necessarily evidence of a paranormal event, but a testament to our own limitations in exploring the abyss. This leaves the door wide open for questions that continue to haunt researchers and enthusiasts alike.